if I do this, everything changes?
So, there was this show that released a little while ago. It was called 13 Reasons Why, and I think it was released in March of 2016, and it was based off a book by J. Asher. I believe that's the name of the author. Basically, premise is a girl committed suicide, and everyone is sad, even the friends, but then it's discovered that she left 13 tapes explaining her reasons, basically 13 reasons why she decided to kill herself. And it's also sad, and I've watched the first season, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's a great show, because a lot of the writing is, because it suffers from some problems, being overly dramatic and things and whatnot. But it was still decent in my opinion, enough to, keep me at least invested, and it was interesting in the way they presented it. And even though it wasn't great, it did get me to talk about it with my mom and dad about, sad that, some kids will do these sort of things. That being said, I thought that was the end of it, but nope, apparently we have a second season. I found out on Rotten Tomatoes that there was a second season coming, or actually on YouTube when I first found out, because I saw in the trending, it's like a 13 Reasons Why season 2. What? So then it comes on Netflix, and then I decide, okay, you know what? I'm gonna watch the show, see how it goes, and I watch it, and it's bad, really bad. There are so many reasons why. Maybe there's 13 reasons why this show, at least the second season, is definitely worse than the first one. Now, originally I was going to do a clip review, put clips of the show in here, but to be honest, it's 13 hours worth of footage that I have to record, and I honestly do not want to see it again. So I'm just going to talk about it basically here. So I watched the whole thing through, and yeah, it's got problems. It's not a good season. Pretty much just an average show for the first season, because the first season I thought was fine. The second season, however, is just bad. It's just really bad. The plot to this is basically now there's going to be a court case, even though Hannah's dead, and she's going to basically a trial court case up against the school. How the school did nothing to help really in that way. And just all those kind of things, and basically that's how it unfolds, and all the characters come back from the first season. And let me get into some of the good things. Okay, so the main actor, the actor who plays Clay Jensen, he pours his heart out into this performance. Even though he doesn't have that good of a script to work with, and the dialogue is very bad, he pours his heart into this performance. I can tell that he's really, really trying, and a good amount of the times it works. I buy it. And he's the best actor in this season, and even in the first season probably. To be honest, there's not much else that's really great about this show. I mean, all the other characters' acting is fine, what they play, and I guess the music is fine. I mean, there's not really much. There's nothing much really to say honestly about this, really, So let me get into why this show sucks, and I'll try to give as many reasons off the top of my head on why it's bad. Number one, the dialogue. The dialogue in this show is very bad.
People need to know the whole story. This is proof of who they all are.
The truth doesn't always make things right.
For a good amount of points. Each episode starts off with a narration by the person in the episode who is going to give their testimony in court, to defend or attack Hannah Baker, whoever. And honestly, just the things they say, it's very forceful. A lot of the dialogue is very forceful and trying to get this message. That's another main issue with the show, is it's trying to force the message more and actually create something good. It's more about starting a conversation, really, or like trying to push an agenda more than it is actually trying to make a good show. And it does it, and it doesn't execute the drama of the situation very well. So yeah, the dialogue's bad, and like with the narrations, it's very forceful, and it just feels like, yeah, okay, I get it. You're saying about all this wise things about like how kids act, and like they have to keep secrets from each other. They're afraid people will find out or not accept them. You know, we're all insecure kind of deal, and it's just goes on for a long, and it just goes on for every episode, and it just feels very forceful and just doesn't seem to fit, and the writing's not good either. Speaking of natural stuff besides the dialogue, the characters don't act like human beings a lot of the time in this. They do things that are stupid. They do things that I don't think a normal human being would do. There's some people in here who are just, I believe, are just sociopaths and honestly need to be put down. The way the characters act and the actions they do just aren't really that great. Another thing that I need to bring up, this can be like, I guess the third thing wrong, is that these characters throughout the series are not really characters, really. If I was watching I Hate Everything's review of it, and he made a very good point. If you take the tragedy out of what happened to the characters in regards to this Hannah Baker incident, they're not really characters, aren't they? We don't see much struggles throughout most of them in that way. If you take that tragedy out, they don't really fit in, and they just don't seem to be like characters, do they? Take away the tragedy, there's not much to them. And yeah, that's true, and that's a sign of bad character development and writing. Number 4 is over-dramatization. Everything in the second season is over-dramatized. And the over-dramatization feels very forced, and feels like it's really trying to be, you know, people cry, and then like it shoots things in just like a dramatic or like shocking way, you know. And there's some explicit stuff in this, in the sense of like when the things it depicts, and honestly, it's so horrible. I never want to watch it again. The shocking things that happen in this are there for shock value. It doesn't work that well, and it's just over dramatized and it's forceful, and the very explicit stuff they show is very, you know, it just seems there for shock value. And if that's what you're trying to do, congratulations, you did that, but it's not done in a good way. So besides the bad writing, the characters doing things that are stupid, and other things, the other thing is that every episode feels the same. It's the same formula all the time. It starts out with narration from whoever's going to be testifying. The court case happens. The prosecutors who are trying to, or like the defenders of the school, who are technically the bad guys in this, seem to act in a way that like, the show depicts them in the way like, oh, they're the bad guys. They're the guys who are, you know, out to, you know, get, you know, the children, and say like, the children are fine, they don't need help or whatever, that kind of deal. And it just feels like that, and it's not that forceful, but it's very obvious that's what they're pushing. I don't really, it's so bizarre in that way. It's just repetitive in just everything it does. There's crying scenes, like, okay, now we have to have the crying scenes, now we have to have the dramatization, we have to have the bad stuff, you know, and everything, you know, and just all that stuff, it just repeats. Every episode really feels the same. It doesn't feel like a natural progression. It feels like it's always stuck, and there's really no progression till like, I don't know, maybe the last 2 or last episode. Everything else just feels very slow, sluggish, and just feels like nothing gets done. This brings up a real question before you get on to other reasons. Why does this season exist? You know, the first season ended on a note that was, I would say, not completely, but just overall satisfying. You know, like, okay, this is how it's going to go, you know, it's sad that this is how it ends. But it ended on, I would say, a note that fit for it fine. And I'm just like, there's no need for a season 2. Now, my next reason is kind of spoilerish, but this is revealed in the first episode. If you don't want to hear it, then skip to this timestamp. But basically, there's like a Hannah ghost in this show, this season. Like, after the first episode, Clay starts seeing like Hannah pop up everywhere, and like it's an actual ghost, And, like, he can actually talk to the ghost, and he thinks he's going crazy, and, like, the Hannah ghost follows him everywhere. And it's like, what is the point of this? And the dialogue between them were so bad, too. And I don't know what the point of the Hannah ghost is. It's a dumb idea. It's a really dumb idea. I can't take the show seriously anymore because we have a Clay who seems to be daydreaming or, like, having delusions or hallucinations of this ghost Hannah. And, like, is that really ghost Hannah? He's the only one who can see her. And, like, is she supposed to be the actual ghost of Hannah, or is that just his delusion? Apparently, I guess it's his delusion, since nobody else can see ghost Hannah. And, and it's just like she's there just to basically screw up the mind and just adds nothing really to it. Like, it's just a dumb idea. Okay, and my next reason is Bryce, like the character Bryce. Okay, I have not had so much hate for a character in a show in a while up to Bryce in this. Okay, Bryce is not normal. Okay, I honestly think Bryce is a sociopathic psycho. Okay? First off, he's more of a tool. He's a tool for the audience because he's just a person to hate. He has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. He is not likable in any way. He did so many things. If you know the first season, then you know he was to avoid demonetization or whatever, RAPE. He did that to many girls, and he has absolutely no remorse for anything he does, and he will do whatever it takes to make sure that he doesn't get in trouble or to avoid the consequences, and he doesn't care about anything. It's like he has no feelings inside him at all, and he has all this talk and stuff, and it's this talk and stuff about, like, with his brothers who are fellow contributors to his bad acts. It's just like, it's so bad. It's so bad. And it's just like, makes you hate this character. Like, honestly, all I want is for him to die. If there's going to be a season 3 of 13 Reasons Why, I will give it 1, maybe even 2 extra points if you just kill Bryce. Kill him off, be done with him. Because honestly, there's... Yes? Close the door.
Oh, are you recording something? Hi!
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
I'm kidding, it's Nathan Drake.
Thank you!
The coin.
Bye.
Bye. Sociopath. He's psychotic. There's something wrong with him. Just kill him off, please. He's not a character, he's a tool. And he's a tool I hate, so just kill him. Next up, how the second season ends. It's really bizarre. And how it ends implies that there's going to be a season 3. I don't want a season 3. Nobody wants a season 3 of this terrible show. It's so dumb and just it doesn't seem to work in any way. And just, like, we don't need this. Like, the point of the first season was about Hannah Baker. This is not going to be about Hannah Baker anymore. We don't need a season 3. You can make an episode or 2 where it wraps up and please kill Bryce in them. But we don't need another season. Nobody asked for another season. I don't want to watch another season of this garbage. It's so... I get tired talking about it because it's just so bad. And honestly, there's so much wrong with it. Dialogue sucks. Characters suck. None of them are really good, except for Clay Jensen, because the actor pours his heart out into this performance, and I can tell. And he's the only one you're kind of cheering for. Dumb things like the ghost Hannah, okay, just terrible antagonists like Bryce and some of the other jocks who just have absolutely no care. Characters make things that don't make sense, and they don't act like human beings. Cinematography is flat. The directing is flat. The acting is not all that great. Yeah, that basically is about it. I don't really know what else to say, really. It's just so bad. It's so bad. That's just basically the main problem with it. All those things, and just basically the show is just trying to basically feels more like it's trying to push an agenda about getting people to talk about the horribleness of suicide rather than make a good show. I give it a 2 or 3 out of 10 at the highest. So yeah, it's just bad. It's just really bad. So thank you for watching me talk about this show in misery. So thank you. Take care.
No!